Hi, I'm Bob with Wolfe Ridge.
Hi, I'm Nick with Wolfe Ridge.
Nick's in charge of procurement here at Wolfe Ridge, and today I'm going to talk to him about lead times. Right now our lead time is between 8 and 12 weeks, depending on which model you order. And the reasons for the lead time isn't just because we're building your splitter for 8 to 12 weeks. Right, Nick?
Yeah, we usually start welding and building a machine 2 to 3 weeks before the delivery date.
So the reason for the lead time is that we've got a queue of built-up orders before we get to yours. Let's say if you order it tomorrow, it'll be ready in 8 to 12 weeks from that date because we're working on previous orders first. But one of the other big things with lead times are components. How many components in a 17 VS?
Roughly 120.
So that's looking at like every piece of it, and that would include stuff that is sourced outside of here and stuff that's built here, right?
Yep.
So on a VS, what is all built here at Wolfe Ridge?
The frame, our in-house tank that we build, the splitting block, a lot of the hoses assemblies we'll build in-house.
Okay. And I suppose one of the biggest things for lead times is engines and pumps, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. If, as an engine manufacturer, I know we use Honda and we use Kubota, does Honda require you to forecast?
Yeah, we typically forecast out 6 months.
Okay. So how do you guess what you're going to need in 6 months?
Very good question.
Okay. Sometimes it happens where these orders are entered, and then I would assume that you think it's going to be 50 and it ends up being 100, so you need the extra 50, but now the manufacturer or the distributor or both can't supply those. So then
sometimes my job gets really hard.
Unfortunately, the lead time gets passed on to us.
Yep.
And then to the customer as well.
Yep.
I know that we have a lot of stuff in stock component-wise for these machines.
A lot.
How many different suppliers do you think we have for each? Okay, for this machine of those 120, how many different suppliers do you think?
Different suppliers, 12 to 15.
Okay. And each one is going to have a different set of
yeah.
lead times and forecasts? Okay.
A lot of it, some parts are short lead times where it's 2 to 3 weeks. Some are 10 to 12 weeks. If it's stuff we're getting from international suppliers, can be 6 to 8 months.
The pumps that we were recently getting for the VSC, those are coming from
overseas,
right?
I have a shipment coming in from Italy.
Okay.
That they just left Italy, I think, this morning.
Okay, that's cool. After the frame gets welded, and I think in our VS How It's Made series, you can see a lot of this stuff going together. Mm-hmm. I think there was a red frame. I'm sure it's not the same one, but when we were doing that video series. So that was pretty cool to see. If you guys want to check those out, check out our YouTube channel for part 1 and part 2 of the VS build. But after the frame gets formed, welded, and all of that stuff, then what?
Then it goes to powder coat.
Okay, and how long does it take at powder coat?
5 to 7 days
okay.
From the time we drop it off to the time we pick it back up.
Okay, and then after it comes back, it comes here, right?
It'll come here. Generally over by shipping, we'll have pre-assembly done where somebody will go through and put the cylinder, the push block, some of the minor components on. Okay. And then it comes to me. They come after school, or if they're in college. We have a few that are in welding school right now that they'll come after. They'll weld for a little bit. They'll help us in assembly, just kind of get their foot in the door at the company.
Cool. So after that pre-assembly is done and then you've got it, how much time do you have to spend on one of these?
A regular VS is around 6 hours. The VSC, probably double that. The conveyor portion of that makes it a lot more complicated.
Yeah, I suppose. And it's a different engine too?
Yeah, it's
different pump.
Bigger engine, bigger pump, dual inlets, a lot of hoses.
All right. All right, as the procurement guy, this is a good question for you. What if we build a new product such as the 17 VS last year, right?
Yep.
How long, once you determine what you want and what you're going to spec and what you're going to need, what does it look like to get a pump or really any of the stuff?
We first started working on the VS. We had picked out a motor. went through prototype phase, realized we wanted a bigger motor, bigger pump on it. Everything got changed. That's one of the reasons that we were behind on some of our deliveries, is when we changed to the bigger motor. To get that motor, it was 120 days from the time that we ordered it. Honda did a really good job at improving that. A lot of phone calls back and forth and a lot of collaboration, but yeah, it was a custom order, not an off-the-shelf. Can't run down to Honda and buy that one.
Yeah, and so then you have to get your, once you figure out you want that motor, you got to get it on the machine, test run the machine, hope that it's right, and
Yep.
then you can place your next order, which again is another 120 days.
Yep.
So that's where it's hard to get, at least with a new product.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you know, the lead times, it's kind of hard to, you're fighting those on the front end.
Yeah, and there was some decisions that got changed, and you know, we went to a bigger pump, bigger motor. The pumps, you know, we're air freighting them in from Italy right now because we can't get them fast enough by sea.
Yeah.
So that adds quite a bit of cost to them.
Yeah, overseas freight isn't cheap, especially if it's air freight.
Yeah. When we spec'd out, we have a product in development that's not announced yet. We actually started talking to the manufacturer about that pump last year at Paul Bunyan.
Okay.
And that's in October.
Yeah.
And that pump we ordered November 1st, and it's not here yet.
Yeah.
So
So what's
we're-
that, 5 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
So-
you still have to do your spec
Yeah.
process stuff
Yeah,
after that.
we ordered 10 prototypes that we'll use for some of our customers will take a prototype machine, use it, abuse it, and tell us,
Yeah.
okay, change this, change that. We've got the verticals very well dialed in right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen since I started I know that the customer feedback gets back to everybody here, and things get changed as needed.
Yep.
The vertical, you know, I thought was done enough, kind of thing, you know, and then I see new improvements, you know. It's
I think
continuous.
every machine that we build, we're constantly tweaking to make better.
Yeah.
If there's something that we find on it that we can make better or more efficient for the shop, we'll make those changes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we talked about some of the components on the machine. Cylinders, those are coming from the United States?
Yep.
Okay. And then the valves, what are you looking at lead times on those?
Right around 8 months.
Yeah, so that's got to be a challenge to forecast.
We keep a very high inventory number on the typical valves that we use.
Okay.
This valve for the verticals ended up being a different valve, so I did a lot of scrambling trying to find them from any supplier that I could get them from. Now we have a steady inventory coming directly from Prince.
And again, I suppose it's hard to know what you're going to need.
We didn't realize how popular this machine was going to be right off the get-go,
Right.
and now the orders are just flying in, so
Yeah.
I'm sending out a lot of purchase orders.
Yeah. All right. All right. So I hope that gives you guys a better understanding of our lead times and how things work. If you'd like more information on our products, please check out our website, www.wolferidgemfg.com. You can give us a call or send us an email. I'll put those links in the description. What's the current lead time, Nick?
8 to 12 weeks.